Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News. Fish and Game officers are appealing for help identifying two men suspected of being involved with a major poaching case in Rotorua. The title of Top Bay of Plenty First 15 is up for grabs tomorrow when Boys High take on Tauranga Boys. And the Sulphur City Steam Rollers are holding an information evening on Monday night. Fish and Game officers are appealing for help identifying two men in relation to an investigation into a major poaching case in Rotorua. Two men are facing a variety of charges after a surveillance operation last month resulted in Fish and Game officers and police seizing 29 trout, mainly spawning females, poached from an isolated stream near Rotorua. Fish and Game Officer Anthony Vandorp said surveillance camera photos show two other men they would like to question. If you can identify these men, contact Eastern Fish and Game. Rotorua Airport is making a concerted effort to be more user-friendly for locals. Marketing Manager Anna Rogers says airport parking has had an upgrade, including free 1 hour parking. She says it's hoped the longer free period will make it easier for locals to farewell friends and family, as well as encourage locals to utilise the airport's amenities.
We would like to be accessible for the whole community. You know, you don't have to be travelling out here to come and enjoy the fantastic cooking we've got at Robert Harris, or you can pick up your lotto ticket from the Relay store, or you know, they've got a great array of souvenirs and books and stuff as well. So
gifts,
yeah, and gifts. There, some great gifts down there. So it doesn't have to be just about travelling on the aircraft.
In sport tonight, intermediate school children from 21 schools in the Bay of Plenty and Waikato took part yesterday in the Bay of Plenty Sevens Invitational.
So today it's the Bay of Plenty Rugby Sevens Invitational Tournament. It's a tournament that's open to all schools around the Bay of Plenty, and since it is an invitational tournament, it's also opened up to schools outside of the Bay of Plenty as well. So we do have one school over from Hamilton today.
Oh, wonderful. So you've got one from Waikato. So how many schools have you got in all?
21 schools in total, and 15 of those are local schools.
Is this a prelude to the AIMS tournament, which will be at the end of the year?
Yeah, so this competition's open up to both Year 5-6 and Year 7-8 students, and the Year 7-8 students always use this as an opportunity to come out and get some practice in before the AIMS Games starts in September.
A chance to contest the national top 4 competition is on the line this Saturday when Tauranga Boys College First 15 host Rotorua Boys High School First 15 in the much anticipated showdown. Rotorua will go into the match as slight favourites after a strong Super 8 campaign, although Tauranga should thrive on home field advantage. The winner of tomorrow's match will host Wesley College on the 23rd of August. Beating Wesley will mean a trip over to face the reigning national champions Hamilton Boys High School before going on to the national top 4 semi-finals. To your weather update now, and the forecast tonight is fine with strong southwesterlies and an overnight low of 3. And we have a full forecast of the weekend's weather coming up after City News thanks to Met Service. For program listings or to watch City News again, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz and don't forget to look us up on Facebook. Still to come in tonight's program, we're at the airport to find out about new initiatives aimed at getting locals to use the airport's facilities. Melanie Groves catches up with Boys High School Principal Chris Grinter, and we're with Layla Robertson to find out about the roller derby info night being held on Monday.
Kia ora everybody, well I'm at Rotorua Airport now and I'm with Anna Rogers, who's the marketing manager. She's just come into the role in the last wee while, about a year now.
About a year, yeah.
And you're born and bred in Rotorua?
Yes, yeah. So I've spent most of my career in the tourism industry. I grew up at Paradise Valley Springs, where my parents were the owner operators out there until they retired. So yeah, the tourism industry in particular has been a big part of my background and upbringing, and something that I really love.
Yeah, obviously passionate about it, and must have some great memories running around as a kid out at Paradise Valley Springs.
Yeah, definitely quite a unique upbringing. It took me a little while to realise that not everyone had the same sort of upbringing, but yeah, good talking point. And
yeah, absolutely. Were there lions out there at the time?
Yeah.
So you could go to school and say, I have pet lions, and kids would be going, whatever.
I didn't realise that other people didn't have them, so I didn't realise I was different from anyone else at the time. But as you get older, you realise. Yeah.
And so how is that upbringing helping you in your role now?
Definitely dealing with customers and dealing with different international visitors on a daily basis, gives you an understanding about, the tourism industry and what the requirements are of, say, the passengers coming through the airport and the way people travel, gives you a really good insight, but also knowing the way the Rotorua industry works and knowing people at different operations around town, gives you a really good understanding on what we need to do and how to market the destination.
Well, you're part of the family here now in Rotorua. I mean, you're part of the whole tourism family. It's in your blood.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what Rotorua Airport is doing in terms of flights, particularly up to Auckland.
Yeah, so just recently we were really pleased to be able to announce that on our Auckland to Rotorua route we've been able to upgrade one of the Beach 1900 flights to the larger Q300 aircraft. So the difference is basically a 1900, the Beach 1900 only has 19 seats and the Q300 has 50 seats. So the biggest offshoot of that is now there's a larger capacity, which means there's cheaper airfares available for people.
We like that.
So, and the one we had about 4 months ago was upgraded is in the morning. The one now that will be in place on the 9th of February next year is in the afternoon. So if you're a business traveller or if you're wanting to connect to an international flight via Auckland International Airport, just the convenience is there now, and also obviously the cheaper airfares.
So can you tell us about the cheaper airfares? Because I think everyone's going to want to know how much cheaper they are going to be.
Obviously there's specials and things that come out. The lead-in fares at the moment are sitting at about $79 per person, which before they were over $100. So there's really great savings to be had there. But obviously whenever Air New Zealand does specials, some of the grabber seats at the moment were sitting at about $55, and I think at one stage they were down to about $35. So it's just keeping an eye on grabber seat website.
Yeah. Because $79 in petrol, it's probably going to get you there in a car that'll take you 3 hours.
Yeah.
And half an hour later,
and you've also got to pay for your parking when you get there, and in some cases accommodation as well. So,
Brilliant. So tell me a little bit now about the free parking initiative that you're going to have, because you want to bring more than just your average passenger on the planes into the terminal, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. So in the end of June this year, we upgraded our old parking system that we had that had been in place for many years. So we've had a full upgrade, all new technology basically. So we're learning as we go with some of this new technology, but definitely it's up to speed now. But basically we've got new pay stations in the terminal, and we've got new barriers and exits in the actual car park. But with that we've been able to develop a long-term parking and also short-term parking options. So basically with your short-term you're looking at about $16 a day, long-term about $10 a day. So there's sort of savings that can be had if you are planning on going out of town for a little bit longer and you want to leave your car here. It's 24-hour monitored car park, security monitored, and we have all the CCTV cameras. The gates are closed every evening, so it's very safe and secure to leave your car here for a long period of time. But then also on the other side of that we've implemented 1 hour free visitor parking for people that want to come and pick up their friends or relatives or drop them off. It means that they can come into the airport, they don't have to worry about paying for their parking, stay for a coffee, see them off on the plane, wave them out through the window and then leave again. But then when we do have different events happening around town, they can come and view them in the airport. So we had the NZIPP photography exhibition that was here for the last 6 weeks, so a lot of people came out to the airport just to see that, have a coffee, see the exhibition, see the planes come and go as well.
So that's nice. So with your marketing role, you're actually becoming more than an airport. You're becoming a little destination in yourself.
Oh yeah, we would like to be accessible for the whole community. You don't have to be travelling out here to come and enjoy the fantastic coffee we've got at Robert Harris, or you can pick up your lotto ticket from the Relay store, or they've got a great array of souvenirs and books and stuff as well. So
gifts,
and gifts. Some great gifts down there. So it doesn't have to be just about travelling on the aircraft. We've also got HeliPro on site and booking air safaris for the different types of flights, so there's a few different tourists floating around.
I notice you often have different businesses in here as well with this showcasing some of their wares. Like I noticed I Love Soap was in here at one point. Yeah. I can see some glass blowing type business down there. I'm not quite sure what it was, but you're obviously developing those relationships with other businesses in town. And how's that going for you?
Yeah, definitely about showcasing other businesses around town. We working really closely with Destination Rotorua as well about, you'll notice a bit more advertising advertising around the airport. We've got some lovely welcome to Rotorua signs when you come up your domestic flights. And offering some of those local wares through our gift store as well. So we're working really closely on getting some of that product in there.
Wonderful, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Oh no, we're all good, thank you.
All right, off to a meeting now.
Yeah.
Busy lady. Thank you so much.
Great.
Kia ora.
Principals are always hard to track down because they live a busy lifestyle. We're here today at Rotorua Boys High School with Chris Grinter. We're here to have a catch up. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Melanie.
I understand that it's been quite a busy start of the term for you. Can you tell us firstly, what have you been involved with lately?
Right, yes, it's been incredibly busy. We're only in week 4, but we had the Kapahaka Nationals in week 2, and last week we had the All Blacks visit and Mike King visit, and now we're into serious rehearsals for AIDA.
Oh,
So it's all happening. Very exciting.
wonderful. Let's talk about AIDA. Can you tell us a little bit about your production at the moment?
Right, well, we've been very lucky to have David Sidwell from Hamilton come through and direct it. And this is a love story based in ancient Egypt, where Radames, who's played by our head boy Elliot Fenton, is betrothed to a young lady by the name of Amneris, but Radames falls in love with Aida, who's also a princess, but a princess of the enemy of Egypt, Nubia. So it's a little love triangle story based, as I said, in ancient Egypt.
So the lead boy is played by Elliot Fenton, who has the lead role. Can we talk about him? Because he's been here for 5 years, but he's also done 5 productions. What a superstar.
Absolutely. The performing arts is the area where Elliot feels most at home. And he's been in every production every year, and he was Jesus Christ in Superstar 2 years ago, Buddy Holly last year, Cat in the Hat before Superstar, and this year he's Radames and Aida.
So how long will the rehearsals take, and in what month of this year is the production due to start?
Right, well actually we've been working on it all year. We've had the orchestra preparing, and we've had vocal lessons through our vocal director Alicia Holton, and so they've been happening, but now rehearsals proper started immediately after the Kapahaka. So we're rehearsing 2 or 3 days a week plus all day Sunday, and we will go onto the stage at the Civic Theatre starting on Monday the 15th of September. 5 evening performances and 3 matinees.
Wonderful. Okay, so we'll move on from there. Let's talk about the involvement the school will have in the World War I commemorations.
Right, well I've been asked by the Mayor to join the committee organising the programme to honour and commemorate 100 years since World War I, and our school will also have one part of that programme insofar as David McGregor, an old boy of ours, in his time at school received this plaque to recognise him as the top cadet in the school cadets as they existed at that time. And so in our Anzac Day assembly, which will be the day before Anzac Day, the last day of term, a Friday, we will have our annual Anzac assembly, and David's going to present the plaque he received many years ago back to the school on that day. So it's going to be a bit of a highlight, and it's one of about 10 or 11 events that the city have scheduled to commemorate World War I.
Is that open to the public, that?
It is to some extent. Like we invite the RSA and the Mayor, but obviously it's a school event, and essentially the hall will be full of our boys. But we invite selected people from the public, and of course Television Rotorua is welcome to come.
Wonderful. How's the first 15 been going?
They've had a good season. They basically have been on a winning streak, although they had one hiccup against Napier Boys away at Napier, which prevented them from making the final of the Super 8. However, that said, they played the Bay of Plenty under-18s yesterday and had a very good win there, and they're gearing up for this Saturday's big final with Tauranga Boys College, which is the Bay of Plenty first 15 final. So the winner of that game goes on into the Chiefs playoff for top 4.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for sharing your time with us. I can see that the school definitely does a lot for our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
The downtown Rotorua skate park with the founder of the Sofa City Rollers, Layla Robinson, who is going to let us know about an information evening. Hey, thanks for joining us, Layla.
No worries, thank you.
Now, before we get into the info evening, I want to talk about the latest event that you have done, Slam Rock. Can you let us know what was that about, and do you do that regularly?
Yep, that was our first local bout, and it was something that we'd built up for a long time. We didn't want to have one too early because we wanted everything to be perfect, and luckily we waited because it was amazing. So it was the first time that Rotorua had ever seen a roller derby game, so we wanted to make sure that the crowd was informed of how the game is played. So we put together quite a comprehensive program which showed people a slow-mo a version of how the game is played. Then just before we played, we did a slow-mo version, which is quite funny for us to do, of pretending to hit each other and pretending to push their own stuff. So it was an amazing event. We actually sold out about 4 days before the game, which was awesome for us, but really sad for even some of our best friends who had thought that they would leave it till the last minute. But with something like this, we put a lot of effort into marketing it. Roller derby is taking off nationally, so we did get quite a lot of media coverage, so it was publicised really well, so we don't recommend that people do wait for those tickets because we anticipate that our next events will sell out as well.
Wonderful, bringing something new and zestful to the city.
Yep, exactly. We had a lot of people there that were supporting us, our friends and our family, but there were so many people that just come along because they'd seen us skating around town, or they'd seen us in the paper on TV Rotorua, and they just wanted to see what are we about. We'd been around for about 2.5 years before we put this game on, so we'd really left people waiting for our first event, and now we've left them wanting for more, I think.
Wonderful. So did you hit it off with a bang? How did you do with this tournament?
So for me personally, I was the organiser. So until 5:30 that day, I hadn't even thought about the game. And then I put my helmet on at 5:30 and I was like, whoa, we actually have to play now? And are we going to win? What's going on here? I mean, we had trained really hard for it, but we did actually come away with a win. So we were really, really pleased with our efforts on the track. It's quite different training to playing a game. The intensity is heightened when you're playing a game. Our coaches always teach us to communicate really well in trainings, and I must say that we fall a bit flat on that in training sometimes, but certainly when we got on the track for that game, we were yelling at each other, we were getting each other together, being nice and strong so that we could combat our opponents, and I was really proud of how all the girls played, and it was just a success all in all. We had a halftime entertainment, was an air guitar competition, which was pretty hard case, and we just did because the theme of the night was glam rock. That's why we called it Slam Rock. Our team is called Motley Crue, so that's why that all ties in together. So we wanted to do something that would fit really well, and the air guitar competition was just hilarious. The crowd was in hysterics. It was awesome. Probably one of my highlights from the game was that the crowd did Mexican wave from one end of the stands to the other, and it was something that I haven't really seen before. Everyone did it. Every single person was out of their seat. They were cheering. They were stomping on the floor. It was just amazing. Good atmosphere.
Well, you've got me excited. I actually might come to the next one.
Good, yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about this info night that you've got coming up. Let us know where it is, when it is, and what we're going to find out when we get there.
Okay, so our main training venue is the Wairiki Recreation Centre, and we're going to have the open night there. Our normal trainings are closed to the public. So this Monday at 6 o'clock, we're going to open it to the public so that they can come and find out a bit more about roller derby, where it started in New Zealand, where it's headed, find out a bit more about the Sulphur City Steamrollers and about how they can become one of us, how they can join. And then we're going to run through a scrimmage, which is basically like a game, but just between our own league members. So we're going to do the slow-mo demonstration, which shows them how the game is played, because there's a lot of rules. It's strayed a far distance from the 1970s when there were clotheslines and headbutts and all that dramatic stuff. The rule book is massively fat. We've got 7 refs on the track, so it's a very serious sport now. So we'll explain a bit of that to them. And the following week we're actually starting to take new members. So at this open training on Monday, we will explain how what it costs to become a member, where they can get their gear from and all of that sort of thing. So the open training is for anyone. You can bring your kids along to that. That's cool. It's $2 per person. And then when people join up, you must be over 18 to actually join the league, just because of the violence involved. And also there's a bit of a scene around roller derby too, so the after party is almost as important as the game. So we'll explain all of that at the open night.
Roller derby, something a little bit different. That was Sulphur City Steamrollers co-founder Layla Robinson, and that information evening is on Monday night at Wairiki. If you'd like to see the show again, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz, or to call the station and talk to one of the team, phone 07 3488 984. Thanks for watching tonight. We hope you have a great weekend. Ko Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on